unable to come for a parade, he just needs to send in like an excuse email and something like that, and we'll take his or her word for it. In a sense, it's a much more flexible system.
So
Um,
it worked, it worked.
um,
Because no one implemented that.
Sorry.
Is there implementation? Who implements?
The
Right
steering
policy, who implements?
the steering committee of our company were actually involved in the enforcing of this attendance system. There were, well, I must admit, there were certain individuals which, um, in a sense, took liberties with the system. Just,
You know, one of the very interesting things is that right now in
Yeah.
schools, we face the problem of truancy,
yeah,
right?
yes.
How do you solve it?
Um, what is normally done in a lot of places is, let me think how I should phrase this. I mentioned earlier that there were problems with our system, with our attendance system. So there were certain primers which gave really very fishy excuses in their emails, including like, oh, I woke up with a headache today, or well, certain excuses which really bordered on absurdity and things like that. Like, oh, I needed to go to my church office to collect something. And in a sense, these are very dubious. From the perspective of the people actually receiving these emails, it was pretty much evident that these individuals.
So your company then train the primers for 1 month, right?
Well, I think that's quite an extreme
So how do you
claim.
solve the truancy problem?
Okay, on the truancy thing, how we responded to it was that we actually spoke to these individuals in person. We actually explained. We actually.
I want you to write a policy for schools, all the schools.
Okay.
People talk to everybody who's truancy, who has problem with truancy, but how are you going to implement a policy for all schools?
Okay.
Because you definitely won't be there talking to everybody, right? Everyone who commits truancy will be there talking to them possible, right? So I want a policy.
I think it's still possible to talk to the individuals, as in the principal or whoever is. Wait, let me. The teachers are the ones who can actually talk to the boys or girls and things like that. Okay, let's give a hypothetical scenario. Student B is frequently absenting his or herself from school. Okay. The teachers who are taking the attendance realize that this person is only here, let's say, twice a week. Okay. And the teacher feeds back up to the principal and goes to the higher authorities and things like that. And they decide to take action against the student. I believe, from what I know, the standard approach is they'll either issue a warning letter to the student or to the parents and informing them that, look, this can't continue. If this continues, we might have to remove the student from our school and things like that. However, that may not be the most appropriate approach, because we are discounting the possibility that the student might actually have personal problems or personal reasons why he or she decided not to attend school. I think perhaps what can be done, in answer to your question, is that a system could be developed whereby, upon discovery of a student like that, the teachers could actually take the step to actually talk to the student in a non-intimidating and in a very casual setting, perhaps even, to try to elicit a reason, or to try and I'm trying to think how I should phrase this.
So the policy is like that, lah.
Yes.
Every time someone commits truancy,
Mhm.
then we will deploy one teacher to talk to him, right?
Uh-huh.
In a nice way.
I mean, after all, the teachers are supposed to really care for the students anyway, right? So if the teacher is really caring towards her class or his or her class,
So there's no problem with that.
sorry.
I would love to commit truancy in the school. Teacher just talk to me very nicely, right?
I mean, you see, the thing about truancy is that it boils down to an attitude issue, right? And attitude is not something whereby it can change by warnings and threats and things like that.
Okay, now let's deal with inflation.
Yes, sure.
Let's deal with inflation. What's the inflation
Okay.
rate in Singapore?
Very high, far too high.
What's the percentage?
Well, I'm not too sure about that, I must confess. I mean, quite interestingly, I'm not a student who takes econs. I'm a minority in that sense. But I do know that a lot of Singaporeans right now are finding the inflation levels really very uncomfortable. Um,
So a lot of
it's linked
students
to a
right now are struggling with say textbook prices and all
yes.
that. So what you do? Let's say if you're a government right now, you have to enact a policy to help poor students. What area do you think you can support? Which specific area do you think the government can help? It's supposed to give money or help something. Which area? Do you think?
Okay, first of all, um, it can be subsidies. It can be subsidies which are granted for, let's say, textbooks purchase. Okay, or if that approach is not feasible, what the government can do is perhaps set aside a certain portion of money to buy a certain number of sets of textbooks to keep in the school, and these textbooks can be borrowed by needy students as the need arises. In other words, if the government is not willing to release that much funding to get an individual set of books for each needy student, what they can do is to get, let's say, one school to get 5 sets of books, for example, and needy students, as let's say their lessons come or as they need to revise, they can actually borrow these books to use. I think the basic need for these students is textbooks. I mean, we cannot deny them the availability of these textbooks. In terms of school fees, I don't think that's really a problem. I mean, as it is, the government, MOE, already subsidizes our school fees quite significantly. Yeah, so I think,
do you think SGB can
yeah,
solve the problem for the poor?
SGB. So I'm moving away from education now.
No, it's inflation.
Oh,
Because the poor
yeah, sure.
do not have enough money for rice,
Yeah.
you know, certain stuff.
I think the objective of the SGB is not to eliminate the problem of poverty or inflation and everything like that. I don't think the SGB aims to solve all the problems of the whole of Singapore and things like that. But the SGB has its place right now, because the actions and the work of SGB is, wait, how should I put this? We may not be able to solve all the problems, but we do all we can. Yeah. In the sense, the magnitude of the task facing us, inflation is a very huge monster which does not seem to be able to be vanquished. But from where we can, what we do in SGB, we try to help those, yes, thanks.
Sit down.